we listen to the beautiful katha of how Lord Indra wanted to visit Lord Shiva. Wanting to go to Lord Shiva, Lord Indra wanted to know if it was a good idea to visit Lord Shiva. And so he went to the Guru. The Guru is the guide. And so the Guru Brihaspati, Guru of the Devatas, hearing or listening to the petition of Lord Indra, he decided that Lord Indra should not go on his own, that he will be accompanied by the Guru. And so both Guru and Lord Indra, they were making their way to Mount Kailash. The only difference is, Indra was leading and the Guru was following. Indra, he was leading and the Guru was following. Do you think that's the right thing? Do you think that's the right thing? In a spiritual group, it means that you're on the quest for spirituality. A spiritual group is also like a religious group. Indradev, he is leading and the Guru is following. And so, Indradev, he is leading and the Guru is following. But as the Guru is following, the Guru doesn't make Indra wise. Because the Guru knows that at some point, Indra, he will fall. But when he falls, the Guru will be right behind him to pick him up. And so, just as the Guru had predicted, Lord Shiva, knowing that Indra is coming, knowing the temperament of Indra, he decides to test Lord Indra. Taking the form of a sadhu, he sits in the narrow pathway, blocking the entire pathway so that Lord Indra will not pass. Lord Indra, seeing this being for the first time, arrogantly, rudely, Indra is saying, "Who are you? Where are you from? Why are you here? Why don't you move? Why don't you go back where you came from? Jao, go away from here." You could talk to some people somehow, sometime, but you can't talk to all the people, all the time. Does that make sense? And so Lord Indra, arrogantly speaking, Lord Shiva doesn't reply. He remains calm. For the Guru has already recognized that this is Lord Shiva. But when the Guru recognizes that something bad is about to happen, the Guru already begins to plot in his mind a plan that will save Indra from being destroyed. Indra, out of his ego and his arrogance and his ignorance, he pulls out his weapon and he aims it at Lord Shiva. But Lord Shiva, by gazing with so much of power at the hand of Lord Indra, Indra hand freezes. Sometimes we have to freeze. Sometimes we have to pause. Sometimes we have to give thought and think and think and think and think again and think it over again before we make decisions. And so as Indra holds the weapon in his hand, the Guru recognizes that Lord Shiva is upset. But Lord Shiva closes his eyes and Lord Indra knows when he opens back that eye, what will happen? The beam that will come out of that eye will burn Indra to zero. The Guru quickly goes and bows to the feet of Lord Shiva. And he holds the head of Lord Shiva and he turns it towards the Samundar. Samundar means the ocean. And at that time when Lord Shiva opens his eyes and the beam of his eyes comes out, it meets with the cracking of a wave. Imagine the beam of destruction is meeting with the ocean thunderously sending a wave. And as the wave cracks and the beam connects with the crack, something happens. Something is about to happen. And so, as the union of the beam of the eye of Lord Shiva meets with the cracking of this wave, something happens. The Katha begins to tell us tonight. Listen. The union of the beam of Anga meeting with the union of this wave creates a little baby boy, a young boy, a child. But this child, taking his manifestation, appearing as though, this child started to cry. But he did not just start to cry, he started to cry ferociously. And so, this ferocious cry could be heard everywhere. And the Devatas, hearing this cry, they became very concerned. What powerful being could be created that we will hear the cry in the heaven? So loud and so potent. And so the Devatas, they marched, they made their way immediately. And where they're going, they know better than to go to Shivalok. They're not going to Shivalok. They're intelligent. The Devatas decided to go to find out what is happening. But they decided to go in a place where they know they will get information. The Devatas decide to go in a place where they will get information. The Devatas, they started to march. They started to make their way to Brahmalok. And you know why they were going to Brahmalok? They were going to Brahmalok because they knew that Lord Brahma had a son whose name was Narad. And once there was confusion and information, Narad will know. Narad will surely be a part of that. And so they knew that if they went to Brahmalok, if Lord Brahma doesn't know, he will surely be informed by his son Narad. And so they go to Brahmalok, hoping that Narad has already brought the information to Lord Brahma and he'll be able to liberate them out of their darkness. Narad Muni, he is deemed to be a person who will know everything. And so they go to Brahmalok. But when they go to Lord Brahma is just as confused as the Devatas. He's just as confused. And so Lord Brahma, he looks at the Devatas and he says, the cry seems to be coming from the ocean. Then you stay here and I will go and I will see what is happening there. And Lord Brahma, he begins to march. He's making his way to the ocean to find out for himself. Lord Brahma makes his way. And making his way there, Lord Brahma sees this child. And this child seeing Lord Brahma, he's seeing, the child immediately rushes to Lord Brahma and grabs hold of him as though he knows him. The child rushes to Lord Brahma and grabs onto him as though he knows him. The child grabs hold of Lord Brahma. The child grabs on to Lord Brahma, but jumps up in such a way that he holds on. And you know what he's holding on to? He's holding on and wrapping his hand around the neck of Brahma. Tight. The child grabs on to the neck of Lord Brahma and begins to squeeze, holding on so tight. Lord Brahma is trying to pull the child off. And by him trying to pull, the child begins to hold even tighter and tighter. And as though he's choking Lord Brahma's eyes become red, lacking oxygen. And so out of those red eyes, tears begin to flow out of the eye of Lord Brahma. And so, as Lord Brahma begins to cry, somebody appears. Some being appears. Who will appear? The troublemaker himself comes. Narad immediately intervenes, and Narad says to his father, let me hold the child. Let me take the child. And so Lord Brahma was relieved. He was happy that Narad appeared and quickly handed over the child to Narad. Narad now names the child Jalandhar. Jalandhar. Anda, your eye. Jal means water. Water that comes from your eye. Water that comes from your eye is called what? Water that comes from your eye is called what? Jalandhar. He calls him water that comes from the eye. Jalandhar. And this is the name that is given to the child. Narad says we will give him the name Jalandhar because he made you cry. He made water come from your eyes. And so we will name him Jalandhar. Having the name Jalandhar, Narad Muni looks at Lord Brahma. Narad Muni says, well, let me now tell you about the future of this child. And he is narrating the future of this child to Lord Brahma. And it has no concern to Lord Brahma, anything about this child, it has no concern to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma is listening. He says, remembering that this child is not yours, O Lord Brahma. This child belongs to the ocean. And so the ocean is the custodian of this child. And so you must leave this child here and go back to Brahmalok. That's food for thought, you know. That's food for thought. Indirectly, Narad Muni is saying to Lord Brahma, this child does not concern you. So leave this child here and go back to your abode. Tonight, I want to tell you that anything that doesn't concern you, or concern your home, or concerns the welfare of your home, you should not take it into your home. Anything that will spoil the happiness and the peace and the prosperity and the love and the relationship at home should not be taken at home. The husband should never allow himself to become weak. The wife should never allow herself to become weak. For they're the examples that the children will follow. They're the leaders that the children will follow. And so, Narad Muni, as he uttered these words, Lord Brahma disappeared and left the child in the clutches of Narad. And all Narad is trying to put the child down. The child doesn't want to go down now. Narad Muni has to devise a plan. Something that will occupy the child. And while the child is occupied, he can run away. Narad Muni has to do something to distract this child. And you know what he does? Narad Muni takes his most prized possession, his instrument, and he gives the instrument to the child. He says, "Come, let me show you how to play." And as the child begins to string, one by one he begins to burst them. And when he's about to play with the last one, and Narad knows that it will burst, Narad disappears. And as Narad makes his way away, he knows that the noise of the instrument will not disturb anybody. For now the instrument is useless. You do not know the worth of something unless you can use it. You would never appreciate something unless you learn or appreciate the worth of it. True or not? Narad Muni disappears, and so the child is left alone. But as the child is left alone, coming to the ocean to bathe is a divine being. Appearing there is this Rishi Brigu. Rishi Brigu, he is coming from Indra. But Rishi Brigu, he tried to enter into the heavens and he was refused. You know why? Lord Indra has just experienced a great ordeal. And so Lord Indra, he's not allowing anybody to enter into the heavens. And so Brigu has been turned away. And so because he has been turned away, he's upset, he's angry with Lord Indra. Upset, angry. He makes his way there to the Samundar, to the ocean. And making his way to the ocean, Sage Brigu, he meets with Jalandhar. Seeing Jalandhar, he could recognize that Jalandhar is an asura, a demon. He could tell. The Sage Brigu, he looks at the demon-like being and he says, "You seem to be a demon." And Jalandhar says, "Well, maybe I am." Sage Brigu says, "Well, didn't you hear?" And Jalandhar says, "Hear what?" And Sage Brigu says, "You didn't hear about what happened to all the other demons?" And he says, "Which demons?" He's saying, "Have you heard about Rahu?" And Jalandhar says, "What happened to Rahu?" And he says, "Well, there was the churning of the ocean and nectar came. And when the nectar came, Rahu took the disguise of a devata and he went to collect some of that nectar so that he would live immortality. He will be immortal. And so, as he was about to drink of the nectar, and he placed it in his mouth, an alarm was raised. And so Bhagwan Vishnu took his chakra and severed the neck of the demon, Rahu. And his head fell in one direction and the body fell in the other direction. And so Bhagwan Vishnu used his foot and kicked it up into the cosmos and created two planets separated by Saturn. And Jalandhar says, "Well, then tell me about Hiranyakashipu. What about him?" And he says, "Well, Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to be great. He wanted to be God. And so Hiranyakashipu wanted his son to call him God. And so Hiranyakashipu decided that he will destroy his son because his son refused to follow his instruction. And so out of the pillar, Bhagwan Vishnu appeared. And when Lord Vishnu appeared, Lord Vishnu destroyed Hiranyakashipu. But Hiranyakashipu was smart. He asked not to die in the day, and not to die in the night, and not to die in the heaven, and not to die on the earth, and not to die in the morning, and not to die in the night. And he thought he had secured immortality. But Lord Vishnu still destroyed him. Jalandhar is hearing that Lord Vishnu took his chakra and severed the head of Rahu. Jalandhar is hearing that Lord Vishnu took the form of Narasimha, half man, half lion, and destroyed Hiranyakashipu. It wasn't in the day and it wasn't in the night. It wasn't in the morning and it wasn't in the night. It was twilight. And Jalandhar then looks at Brigu and he says, then tell me, who was responsible for all of this? And he just heard that Bhagwan Vishnu destroyed, and he's still asking, so who is responsible for all of this? And Sage Brigu started to smile. He said, you didn't know? Lord Indra. He is responsible for all of this. Indra is the troublemaker. You know why? Because Lord Sage Brigu is upset with Lord. So he is spreading this anger. He is recruiting others to be vexed too. Guru Brihaspati, he has overheard all that Brigu is saying to Jalandhar. And Guru Brihaspati knows now that trouble will come. Trouble will come. So Guru Brihaspati, he is now making preparations for trouble. What preparations have you made for trouble? He knows now, the Guru knows that at any time Jalandhar will go to Indralok. And once he goes to Indralok, Indralok is the heaven. Indra is the king of the heavens. And once he goes to the heavens, then all the devatas, they'll be in trouble. So he tells the devatas, make their way out of the heavens to a place called the Drona Giri. Drona Giri Parvat. Go to this holy place where there is a Sajivani planted, where there are the herbs that will bring forth life and prosperity and protection. Go to that place. And as the devatas, they're making preparations to go. Narad Muni appears again in the Samundar. And as Narad Muni appears at the Samundar, Sage Brigu looks at Narad and he says, Narad, what is happening? And he says, don't you know? He's talking to a sage. So he's thinking that the sage is a holy man. And he says, don't you know? All the devatas, they're going to the Dronagiri Parvat to hide. Because chances are that demon might create havoc in the heaven. And now, Brigu and Jalandhar know the plan of the devatas. Sage Brigu now gives an instruction to Jalandhar. And he says, Jalandhar, you are powerful, you are mighty, you are strong. You were born from Lord Shiva himself. You possess the strength of Lord Shiva. Sons should be brought up with the attitude of not being just like their father, of being better than their father. Not in an egoistic, arrogant way, but in a way, in such a way to uplift the name of the father. The father whose name is already flying like a flag, to lift that name even higher so that that name will fly even more and be greater. Brigu says, Jalandhar, I have an idea. Somebody ever tell you they have an idea? Let's do something. And he says, Jalandhar, before the devatas go to this Dronagiri Parvat, go and take this mountain and sink it in the ocean. So when they go there, there is nowhere for them to hide and there will be no protection. He goes and he follows the instruction, and as he sinks the mountain in the ocean, what will happen? When the devatas go in search of the mountain, they're confused. There is no mountain. The devatas, they're confused. They have lost the mountain that will protect them.